So today we'll be working on the same thing like yesterday. Make sure you go to your Google Classroom. So go to your Google Classroom, guys. This is second period. And you're going to hit classwork. Journal. You can look for it there and not to the back. On classwork, we're still working with fractions, decimals, and percents, but real world situations. So make sure that you click there. This is yesterday's video. I'll have it by dates. If you notice, I'll have 9.5. Today I'll have the new one that I'm recording at this moment, 9.6. And this is the one you're gonna open. Begin with Google. Yes, sir. Make sure that when you click on this one, that you click on the right one. That's your name. Quitar Mr. Rivera de aquí. Put them there behind the thing. Okay. Yesterday you should have done. This is not the answer. I'm just putting whatever on these. But we did number 2 together. You should have done number 1 at home. We did number 4 together. You should have done number 3 at home. And these are not the answers. The 1 and 3, those are not the answers. I'm telling you already. Because I don't want you to go home and think, oh, he's giving them the answers for yesterday's. No, I'm not. This is not the answer again for yesterday. So make sure that you watch the video from yesterday. You really want to see what we did yesterday. But you should have done already 1 through 6, page 1. Questions. Today we're going to work with page 2. So go to page 2. And I'm going to do the same method like yesterday. I do 1 and you do what? 1 at home. I do 1, you do 1 at home. And make sure that you really do them at home. Because if not, you're not fall behind. Okay? So today I'm going to do number 8. You ready? Yes, sir. You have copies? I have copies for yesterday's, and I have copies for today's if you're going to need a copy. So at the end of the class, I'll give you your copy. The purpose of you doing it through YouTube is because during the STAR test, you're not going to get a copy. You're going to have a computer in front of you, right? Your laptop. And you have to take the test in front of it. Leave it open so that when you come back. So like that. The YouTube video is for you to, whichever. Yeah. So here we go. Number 8. Ready? Number 8 says Rashid is shipping a box that weighs 8,300 kilograms, 83 out of 100. Which decimal is equivalent to 83 over 100? So what should we put first in our paper? Very good. The important thing about the question. So what was important of the question? Let me split the screen here. Let me move it this way. Go ahead and put number 8. This is today's homework. So number 8 on the top, put HW again. We're still working with 6.4G. We're still working with fractions, decimals, and percents. And today's date is 9/6/23. It's still the same thing from yesterday, except we're going to page 2. So homework is number 8. No, number 8. I'm gonna do it right now with you. We're gonna do it together as a class. So tell me, what would be important from the question in number 8? Huh? The decimal. They want a decimal. That is what? Equivalent means what in math? Equal, right? That they're the same. Equivalent to who? 83 over 100. Your first job in my class always, when you have a real world situation like a story problem, in this case, there's a kid chipping a box, is to quickly tell me what they're asking me. What's important that they're asking me? They basically want a decimal, and they want a decimal out of this fraction. Questions? Now, anything else that's important there? No, right? That's it. So what will be the strategy here to go from, what are we going from? From what form to what form? We're going from what? Fractions. From fraction, very good, to decimal. From fraction to decimal we're going. Now, who remembers how to go from fraction to decimal? Divide. And if I forget, where can you go check how to go from fraction to decimal? Your notes. And you have a notes like this, like a little organizer, the triangle organizer right there. And if I want to know how do I go from fraction, look, here it is. Look, follow the arrow. Fraction to what? Decimal. You need to what? Divide. The top one by the bottom. Numerator divided by denominator. That's why I always tell you bottom out. Okay, so that's what we need to do. So go to the side and let's divide. Who's going to go on the outside? 100. Inside? 83.
Bottom out.
Okay, bottom out. Who's confused with this?
Me.
Okay.
By the decibels. Where you have to put the decibels.
Yeah, okay, good. Good question, sir. So right now, are you confused with the division process?
Yes, where do you put like
the decimal? Yeah, I want to get to that right now. But right now, at this moment, do you understand
yes.
why we put the 83 inside and the 100 outside? This year, okay. Okay, right now I'm going to answer your question on the decimal. That's a real good question, okay? Because sometimes kids put the decimal in the wrong place. So listen to what I'm going to tell you so you won't do that. Very good, sir. So we start. Is 8 enough for 100? Is 83 enough for 100? No. So now look at this. We're saying that there's no holes because we didn't have enough. We only had 83. So we have no holes.
Is that bigger than the bottom?
Good. And that's where I'm going to. So look, you see that top number? That's smaller than the bottom. That means that this is a proper fraction, so we should not have holes. So having those zeros is a good thing. There's no holes. Now, if we look at the place value chart, the decimal will come next after the holes. Do you agree? And in case you're wondering, like, what is he talking about? Let me show you a place value chart quickly.
Will you please prodigy, sir?
So when you were in elementary, you had a place value chart that the same one that I have there in the wall. It's right here. And pay attention. Oh, it's one of these to buy. So I don't want to buy. I just want a picture. So it's right here. We'll just use this guy.
Do double click so you can download it.
Let me get this one. I just want to show you one that shows a picture, not. There we go. So you see these? These are your holes. So to the right, it'll be your decimal. So let me see. There we go. That's the one I wanted to show you. So pay attention. Look. When we put those zeros, we're saying that there's no holes, right? And after we say, okay, there's not going to be holes, you see that decimal right there? That's where you're going to put on the right of the holes. So he was asking, how do I know where to put the decimal? Well, let me go back to the page. We already know that there's no holes, 0 holes. And what I'm going to put right after the holes? The decimal. And that's where you always put it. You don't put it wherever you want. So I've seen kids put it like in between, in the front. No. It's always after the units. If you notice, these are your holes, the units. To the right, you have your decimal. So in case you're wondering, like, well, this is no holes, so to the right is my decimal. Did that answer your question? But that's a good question because I do get a lot of kids that put the decimal in the wrong place, and you have to just think about the place value system. On the left side, you have your holes, your parts, your whole parts, the units. On the right side, you have your decimals, your parts of a whole, your tens, 1 out of 10, hundredths, 1 out of 100, thousands, 1 out of 1,000, 10,000, 1 out of 10,000. Okay? So the decimal should be always after the units, after the wholes. Let me go back to this. Good question, sir, because kids do have that question. Very good, sir. Okay. Now, once we put the decimal, what can we do at the end? Add a 0. That's making pieces. We're making pieces. We don't have enough to give you a whole thing, but we're going to give you parts. And why do we add zeros? Because we have a base 10 system. The system that you have on the wall that I show you right now, it's 10, hundredths, thousands. It's base 10 system. That's why we always add zeros, after you put the decimal. Now, 100 times what would give me close to 830? 8. Good. 30 is left over. When we have a leftover, what do? We come back to my dividend and you add another zero, which is making more pieces. Now we have 300 parts times what? 3. Do I add more zeros?
No.
No, it's a terminating decimal. We're done. So now I know that 83 over 100 is the same thing as 0.83. And I box the answer. Now I can go to my choices and what's the best choice to choose if this is your answer?
J.
Good. Make sure you write the J also on your journal. So like that in case that there's a glitch or there's something wrong with the computer, you have all your work and your answers ready to go. Don't forget to always write the letter. So I'm going to go and choose J. I have one quick question just to see if we understand this. Which two choices would be very dumb just knowing that this is a proper fraction? Why do we call this guy a proper fraction?
Because it has no holes.
Good. It has no
And
holes.
also, it does not
The
surpass
top
10,
number is smaller than the bottom. That means that it has no holes, no units, and that's why it's called a proper fraction. So based on that, what two choices would be really, really dumb? What's what? F, because he has how many holes? Number. That guy, there's something wrong with that one. Okay? And then the next one. What's the next one that's dumb too? H, because he has also what? 8 holes. That's why what he said is important, guys, because kids that do not place the decimal quickly, they're going to go and place it at the end. They're going to place it in the middle, and that's what's important. Let me show you with a cursor so like that the computer will show. Gerardo's question was so important because of this. You do all the work, but you forget to place the decimal quickly. And then you're done and you have the answer still 83, but now you're like, oh, where do I put the decimal? And you end up putting it at the end, which will give you the 83 holes, which would not make sense because it's a proper fraction. Or you might say, pues lo pongo aquí entre medio, pues no sé dónde ponerlo. It's still wrong because it's 8 holes. So your question was so important, and I'm glad that you asked those questions, especially because we're recording, because other kids will benefit from that. You see how important that question? When he asked that question, I'm like, wow, he hit it in the hole, because now I can show you what happens if you don't put that decimal quickly. You will still get the 83, and we'll be all happy that you can divide the thing, but then you'll place the decimal in the wrong place, and now the whole problem is going to be wrong. You're going to choose probably F or H, which are the dumb and dumber. Do you understand? Good job, sir. The way I did number 8, you're going to do number what? 7. So go ahead and put next to it HW 7. And now, Gabriel, you may go to the restroom and then you'll be next. Next. I'm sorry. Right there. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have accent?
Who?
Axel?
Yes, I do.
Can you send it to the office?
For what, ma'am? I'm just curious.
Oh, no, wait, when you have a chance.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. There we go. So number 7 will be for homework, the way I did it. Let me read it for you all, for in case you didn't have that option that they read it to you. Number 7 says, customers bought 7 out of 10 of the cookies at the bakery. Which decimal represents the fraction of the cookies the customers bought? So I just read it for you, so in case you want to hear them read it for you, well, go watch the video. Okay? The next one, let me move my face. And let me hide myself. Number 10 and number 9. I'm going to do number 10 for you, and you're going to do number 9 at home like right now. So number 10 says, Lori bought a piece of candy for 57 cents. What fraction is equivalent to 57 cents?
So you gotta say it like a rap.
Okay. Here we go. Let's see if you're listening. I want somebody else besides Andrea to tell me what to write first, because Andrea's on fire. That's why she got the song.
What can I put it, sir? Can I put it?
No. Number 10. Who can tell me what's the first thing that Mr. Riva always wants you to focus on?
fraction equivalent.
Good, the question. Good job, Gerardo. They
Fraction
want a
equals.
fraction now. Now they want a fraction that is equivalent equal to who?
57 cents.
0.57. That's what they want.
No.
That's what they want. Josue, good job, sir. So strategy, Jose already knows that if I want to go from decimal to fraction, we need the place value chart. Good job, sir. Very good, sir. Oh, I forgot that we need to do that. Well, you see your little notes journal? Look what it says. Decimals to what? Fraction, place value chart. You read it and you'll count the fraction. Now, I'm still not making you to simplify. Not on these, but eventually you're gonna have to simplify. Okay? So now, very good for Josue. So let's draw one. And in case you wonder what's the place, I just showed you a picture of it too. Right there. That's the place value chart. Okay? So on the left side you have your wholes, your units. On the right side you have your parts of a whole. We need this so we can change the decimal to a fraction. That's the best way to do it. Okay. Who's on the left side we said? The whole. So we're just put whole. Units, yes.
Which is ones.
On the right side, who's the first piece?
Tens.
Tens. 1 out of 10. Instead of writing the word, you can put 1 out of 10, but it's tens. And then the next one, hundredths, which is 1 out of 100. Then thousands, with a TH, right? Questions? Questions? Now, let's go ahead and put it here. 0.57. You just place it on your place value chart. And now check the last digit. Where did it stop?
Hundreds.
So I know that my fraction is going to be out of 100. So we're going to put out of 100 because se paró allí. And what number do you have there? 57. Now some of you in last week's homework, you were just putting the 7. No, it was not just 7, it was 57.
57 actually?
So that's the fraction 57 and 100. You cannot simplify that one. It's already simplified. So that's the answer, which is letter
F.
F. Then go and click on it. If it does not allow you to click, make sure that you have this cursor. This one, it has to be selected. It has to be blue or something. So if not, I had a kid that was getting the pencil and then bubbling in. That's not gonna work. You have to click on it. Questions? Now let's see if you can come up with this one. I'm curious who can come up with this. Which of the choices are really dumb based on the decimal? Which of the choices are really dumb based on the decimal, Gabriel? H. That's a dumb one. Okay, because the bottom number will be 10, 100,000. Okay, that's a dumb one, but there's even 2 other dumber ones, like really bad, like bad. Axel, why J? Very good, guys. If it has a 100 on top, it means that you have what? Holes. If it's improper, yes sir, if it's improper, you have holes. Now think about it. It's 57 cents a whole dollar. So how can J be a good answer? If the top number is bigger than the bottom, you will have whole dollars, whole dollar. Bless you. What other one is dumb?
If that would be like that, it would be
G.
He must have
Because
been
again,
50 something cents.
This guy will have money, a whole dollar, 57 out of 10, vamos a tener a whole dollar, more than a whole dollar, $5. This one's gonna have también more than a dollar. Do you understand? I'm teaching you these strategies so in case you're lost, at least don't choose the dumb ones because you see here, no holes. G will have holes and J will have holes because both of those fractions are improper, which means that you will have holes. Questions? So way the number 10, you're gonna go home and do numbers 9. HW will be number 9. Draw a line.
Is it? And then you before gonna do 12?
The next one. Now these are the tricky ones because these are gonna make you simplify finally.
So we're
Okay?
gonna simplify now.
So I'm gonna show you today how to simplify.
We have to simplify.
I'm gonna get number 12 and you're gonna do number 11. So today I'm gonna teach you how to simplify. This one will require simplification. 9 and 10, they will not have to be simplified. They're already simplified. 11 and 12,
They're not.
they're not simplified. But before I even start with simplifying, even if I don't, I might just assign you for homework 7 and 9 if I take long with my lesson on simplification.
No, please no.
Okay? Let me at least start number 12. Ready? What did they give me in the question?
Which fraction is
So they want a fraction again.
is equal
Equal to what? To the distance in miles. And what's the distance in miles according to the story?
0.
Good job. Questions with what they want? They want a fraction that is equal to 0.72. How do I get a fraction out of a decimal? How do I get a... We just did one. Look, it's the same thing. Fraction, decimal, fraction, decimal. I need a place value chart. So let's go ahead and do one. To the left side, who's on the left side of the decimal? O's, your units. Who's the first one on the right side? Tenth. The next one? Hundredth. The next one? Thousandth. And we stop there. We can continue, but we don't need to. 0.72. Who can give me the fraction already?
72
72 out of 100. Now, do you see that answer there?
Yes.
Where is it?
It's right by
Nowhere, right? Do you see it there?
No.
The reason we don't see it there is because we need to now simplify. Okay?
Do we divide
We need to simplify. So here's how we simplify. Ready? We're going to find, I'm doing 12, sir. Yes. Ready? To simplify, we're going to divide. And here's what I want you to first check. If both numbers are even, you know what even numbers are?
Yeah, like 2, 4, 6, 8.
Good. Numbers that end with 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, that's even. So is the top number even?
Yes.
Is the bottom number even?
Yes.
And what am I counting by in evens?
20. 2.
By 2. So guess who you can use to simplify? 2. So divided by 2, 2. Again, your first job, right now, slowly I'm going to teach you how to simplify. I'm teaching you the easiest one is about even numbers. If both of them are even, we're going to always simplify by 2. To make it easy right now. Later on, I'm going to show you even better stuff. Right now, this guy's even because he ended it with 2. This guy's even because he ends with 0. That means I can simplify divided by 2, 2. 72 divided by 2, I'm going to have to go to the side and do that unless you are real good. So you can already figure it out, but I'm going to go to the side. 72 divided by 2. The first one goes inside. The second one is the bottom out. First, second, bottom out. Don't forget that. Times what? To get to 7? 3. Good job. Bring down the 2. Times what? 6. Great job. So 72 divided by 2 would be 36 on the top. So I'm done with that part. Okay? Yes?
Wait, let me see the problem.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, 100 divided by 2, eso está fácil. If you cut the 100 in 2, it's going to be 50. But if you now you can go do it, so it's 50. Now, do you see that answer still there?
No.
No. Do I panic? No. Do I get H because it looks like mine a little bit? No. Do you get J because it looks like mine a little bit? No. As a matter of fact, those two are the dumb ones already because 50, they do have the 50. You see how they have a 50? But they have what on top?
9.
And they should have what on top?
More than a 20.
No, look at it. You already did it. Who should be on top of 50? 36. So you know that H is dumb because of this part already. Which one is also dumb? J. Because who should be on the bottom? 50. So these two should be your dumb and dumber. Now it has to be one of these two. Well, let's go check. Is it still even?
Yes.
So guess what we have to do again? Divide by 2. No pasa nada. You're going to write the fraction and say, okay, it's still even, so I'm going to divide by 2 again. You go to the side. This time I'm going to go to the side because I'm kind of running out of time. 36 divided by 2 will give me 18, guys.
18. 25.
And 50 divided by 2, just cut it in half. What's half of 50?
25.
I know
Is that answer there?
I said it.
Is that answer there?
Yes.
Yes.
Who was that?
This is called simplest form. And I'm going to explain right now mathematically why it's called simplest form. Again, listen. Why did I keep on dividing by 2, 2, 2, 2? Because they're always even. Divided by 2, 2. Divided by 2, 2. Now, here I stop because one is even, the other one is what? Odd. Okay? So you cannot simplify anymore.
So you stop until you can't anymore.
When you can't anymore. Later on, I'm going to teach you some little strategies of how you know that it's already simplified. Like this one, the reason it's simplified is because 25 is a perfect square. And the only one that can give you 25, a perfect square, will be 5. And 5 is not a factor of 18. So it's very complicated. So there are might be those little notes. Like you're going to see that number, you're like, oh, it's already simplified. Right now, I'm just teaching you how to simplify with when they're even. Now, the one you have at home, they're not going to be even. But you're going to be able to simplify with 5. When you go home, you're going to simplify with 5. Why? Because here's the other one. Let me do it over here so you guys can see on the
Wait,
video.
do we copy?
No, but it's going to be on the video. I'm going to show you it's going to be on the video. I'm going to show you right now a little bit more about simplify. So you're going to go home and do number 11 for homework. The way I did number 12. But you're not going to simplify by 2, 2. I'm already telling you, you're going to simplify by 5, 5. And right now I'm going to explain why. As soon as the marker turns on. Thank you, marker.
Which side is connected?
Come on.
Yes.
There we go. Do not copy red. Ready? Just listen over here. If I have 20 over 34, let's pretend.
That's orange.
Are they even?
No. Yes, they are. They are.
0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Are they even?
Yes.
So who could I simplify? 2, 2.
Your face was shocked. It was shocked.
34 divided by 2 would be 17. I'm doing mental math, but you can go outside and actually divide, just so you can get.
So we have
Now,
to do it.
it's in red. Just listen. Are both of them even? Wait, I want you to listen to this part. Are both of these even? No. So could I simplify again by 2, 2?
No.
No.
7, 7.
It's probably already ready. And the reason that this one is ready is that the number on the bottom is a prime number, and the only thing that can give you a prime number is itself, and that's why it's going to be already simplified. I'm going to show you all those later on. Right now, I'm just trying to make the point that today at home, you're going to get one that ends with 0 and a 5, let's pretend. And if it ends with 0 and 5, are they even? You can't use 2, but you can use 5. Anytime that it ends with 0 or 5, we can simplify with who? 5.
Are there S or 5?
Okay?
Teachers, at this moment, please post your attendance. Thank you.
You should not get remainders if you're using the right factor. You should not, you divided wrong. Guys, if it ends with 0 and 5, which your homework today will end with 0 and 5, that's why I'm going over this. You will not use 2, 2. The only reason we used 2, 2 on ours was because they were even. But once you see that yours ends with 0 or 5, or 0 and 0, by the way, if it ends with 0 and 0, we can use 2 now and 5. But who would you want to use? You always want to try to use the bigger one. Later, I want to teach you a lesson on simplifying. Right now, I just want you to go home and survive on how to simplify. And this is from 4th grade. I'm not like doing something new, but I know that they probably did not teach you the whole lesson on simplification, and that's why we're confused. I'm trying to make it easier. Si tú tienes un even number, los dos son even, the numerator is even, the number is even, you can use 2, 2. And you can continue using 2, 2 until you can't simplify anymore. Now over here, it did not end with 2 even, it ended with 0 and 5. So who can you use? 5. So let's see if you're listening. Tell me who you can use here. Ready? Who can we use?
2.
2. Good job. Who can we use?
5.
5. Very good. Who can we use?
5.
5 again, because it's 0 or 5, we can use 5. Who can we use?
5.
Let me use some. Divided by 5. 35 divided by 5. If I cannot do that mentally, I go to the side, and this guy goes inside. The first one goes inside. The second one bottom out. So the second one is your bottom. If you're second place, are you at the bottom of first place?
Yes.
First, second, you're at the bottom, bottom out. Like I can remember, because sometimes we forget. Sometimes you guys forget that this means that, and it means that. They're all equal. 12 divided by 18, 12 divided by 18, and 12 divided by 18 is read the same way. And if you notice, the bottom is out. The second, in your second place, you are at the bottom, so you're supposed to be out. First, second, you're at the bottom of first place, second place, you're at the bottom of first place, so bottom should be out. So we need to know these three are the same thing. Okay? Anyway, so 35 divided by 5, second is the bottom, bottom out. Second is the bottom, bottom out. Don't forget. And now we just go times what? 99 times 7, 35. Perfect. We should not have remainders if we see the right factor. We're using what's called GCF, greatest common factor. Or really, I don't care. We don't use the GCF as long as we use the common factor. And I'm going to talk to you that. I'm going to teach a lesson about simplifying. So what's on the top now? 35 divided by 5 is 7. 100 divided by 5.
50.
Who goes inside?
Oh, no.
Who goes inside?
7.
And you write some. Somebody said 20 already. That's awesome. Who goes inside? 100 divided by 5. Who goes inside? 100. Why 100? Because he's the first one. Second is bottom, bottom out. Second is bottom, bottom out. Second is bottom, bottom out. Este son de un niño. What happened is that I told during football, this guy was
You teach football?
I coach football. Let me finish this one and then I'll tell you the story. 1 is that enough?
No.
10 is that enough?
Yes.
No.
Times what?
2.
Do I start putting decimals? No. You don't start putting decimals. The decimals are always at the right of the whole. That's why I'm worried. That's why when he asked the question about where do I put the decimals, they're at the end always, at the very end. That's where you put them. Okay? 10, right? Bring down the 0. Is 0 enough for 5? So what do I put here? So it's 7 out of what? 20. Can I simplify again? No, because that guy at the top is a prime number, and the only thing for a prime number will be himself, and 7 can I give you 20? It's already simplified. And simplify basically means this, in case you're wondering. Instead of having so many pieces, we're making less pieces. And here's a good example of simplification in life. Would you rather carry 100 pennies or 4 quarters?
4 quarters.
So you're grouping the pennies into groups of 25, into groups of 25, into groups of 25. So instead of carrying 100 pennies, 100 pieces, you prefer carrying 4 pieces, which is 4 quarters, right? Well, that's what you're doing here. Instead of having 100 pieces, I'm putting in groups of 5, so I can have less pieces and it's still the same thing. Somebody that says I ate 3,500 of the cake is the same thing as somebody that said I ate 720 of the cake. Except that this cake, the pieces are bigger. That's why you ate 7 pieces only. And this one, the pieces are smaller. That's why you have to eat a little bit more because there were smaller pieces. And here's an example of that with a model. I'm going to do the easiest example will be 4/8. 4/8, we have a pizza that was cut into 8. Yes? And how many pieces did you eat? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that same pizza I can simplify divided by, they're even divided by 2. Check this out, guys. What's 4 divided by 2? 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we're saying that we can simplify this by putting them in groups of 2. Check this out. So I'm going to do this one now. And if I put it in groups of 2, let me get another marker. If I put this in groups of 2, in groups of 2, in groups of 2, because division is put in groups of 2. How many groups do you have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. And how many are still shaded? 1, 2. Which is easier to cut? This guy or the first one? The second one, because it's simplified. But look, it's still even. So what can we do again? Divided by 2, 2. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. And 4 divided by 2? So they're saying that we can simplify this even more. Divided by what? 2. Putting them in groups of 2. So let me get another marker. Let's go with black now. They're saying group them in groups of 2. So this is one group of 2. And this would be another group of what? 2. Let's see how it looks. Here's a pizza. And how many are shaded? 1. That's why it's called simplifying. Because you don't have so many pieces. It's not messy. You can cut it. It's simple to cut half. Y vámonos, ya acabé. Instead of cutting all these pieces. So when you're dividing by 2, 2, your teacher probably never told you what you're doing. You're putting the pieces in groups of 2 to make less pieces, but this guy still ate the same thing as this guy and this guy. Boy number 1 goes home and says, I ate 4 slices. Boy number 1. Boy number 2 goes home and says, I ate 2 slices. And boy number 3 says, I ate 1 slice. And you might think, oh, boy number 3, my bad. Boy number 1 is bien tragó. The guy ate 4 slices. And this guy, pobrecito, he just ate 1. But mathematically, that's why you should ask yourself, yeah, 4 out of what? 4 out of 8. Yeah, 2 out of what? 2 out of 4. Yeah, 1 out of what? 1 out of 2. At the end of the day, they all ate the what? Same. Except that this guy ate small pieces. That's why he ate more. And this guy likes it big. ¿Entiendes? Ese le gusta más grande, so le entra grande como un taco. ¿Entiendes? Questions? Questions? That's what's called simplifying. Hopefully now you understand when they would tell you simplify the fraction, porque es eso, divide, but now you can actually see a model in the video of what simplification is all about. Okay? Let me pause the video. I'm not going to be sharing the honey bun story in the video. Question will be number 11. You're going to simplify by what? By 5, 5, because it's going to end with 5 and 0. Trust me. I'm going to let you know. It's going to be simplified by 5, 5, and you should not have remainders because 5 is a factor of something that ends with 0 and 5. Okay? Then I'm going to show you those little notes. They're called divisibility theories. Yes.
What
Um,
about the iReady?
we'll stop there. It's a 40-minute video.